Alright, we are back again for LFT versus Storm Battalion. LFT. Wait, what? Alright, this works. Makes my life easier. I guess we're doing LFT versus LFT. Oh no, I guess there is Pharaoh there. Okay, no. Looks like Storm Battalion is... No, this is Storm Watch. It's Pharaoh Storm Watch. Wait, am I being lied to? I might be cooked. Because I don't know if this is... Can't know if you're selling. This is Storm Watch. I'm being lied to. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to assume it's Stormwatch. Because that's Farah is the captain of Stormwatch, I'm pretty sure. Unless things have changed. So, I'm assuming this is Stormwatch. If not, I'm sorry. 2 tryouts maybe though? Not sure. Oh! We got a player there, a very long name. Almost Red Prestige. So close. Oh no. They swap sides. Where am I being pinged? Wait, what? What the? Oh. Okay. Hideout, let me update OBS. Hideout. Bro, holy ping. I'm trying to cast. I need to turn off pings. Alright. First round. Ooh. That is too fast. There we go. Alright. Storm Battalion does seem to have 1 bot. LFT has 1 bot as well, so 4v4. Top floor, first site. Shout out King of Diamonds, first to chat every single time. Enzo, a little bit strange right now. A very long name gets a kill. King of Hearts refrags that. And now it's a 4v4. Are they ready for Farah? Closed door. King of Hearts with the Cyclone. Gets the second pick. He's in sight. His teammates aren't ready to support him, though. He gets in, but has to reload. King of Hearts gets 2. This could be an ace for him. Likely calling that out to his teammates right now. However, he doesn't know that the last player is downstairs. No, never mind, not downstairs. Soundwave is now in family room. However, he may not be able to get the pick. No, Soundwave is lower than him. I might have to start using the second, or I don't know what it's called. I might have to use this perspective more. Starting off with an ace from King of Hearts. That's actually kind of crazy. Oh. Okay. Monitor did something for a sec. King of Hearts acing there. Bot Enzo actually not dying. So, good on him. Very good on him. Yeah, wow. King of Hearts definitely performing there. I wonder if he'll be able to continue that performance into the further rounds, because a lot of times I see players are either good with pistols and worse with rifles, or good with rifles and worse with pistols. So we'll see how this goes. Does look like he will be keeping with the Cyclone. Knut and one Omen coming in from LFT. Two Omens coming in from Stormwatch. Bad nade coming in there. Hashtag does take out the bot very early. King of Hearts goes in, gets the first pick. However, he is at half HP. They're going to need to be careful of those trips, though. There is a player back in Waterfall. Farah takes out Catloaf. Player in sight now. Soundwave does take out King of Hearts. Now it's a 2v4. This is very good looking for Stormwatch. Retaking control of storage, and now there's a player in sight and one upstairs outside. He's going to need to support his teammate that's in sight, because he has EMP right now. He's in a very good spot to plant. He just doesn't have cover from his teammate. Potato is going to swing in storage, however, does pull off a little bit. The defense is now holding waterfall weights and bomb. Oh, Potato takes a lot of damage there. He may not be able to help. Doom takes out Farah and Hashtag. Ooh, Soundwave takes out Doom. Unfortunate timing. And now it's a 1v2. Potato's at 4 HP. Bro, holy ping! I'm trying to cast. It does look like Potato will be saving. Okay, yes, it is Stormwatch. Catloaf has confirmed. Maybe not a save. He does only have a pistol, and he has $3,500. He's making a lot of footsteps right now. Stormwatch could very easily just pinch him from wall and storage door. The guy in parkour takes him out. That was a real mess up there from LFT. Doom was in the plant spot. He could have planted while Potato covered from wall, and that would have been almost GG's there for LFT. They could have very easily held from outside and not really had to worry about anything, as long as Stormwatch didn't put anyone upstairs in garage or out the door. That could have been a very close round, I think. However, that's passed, so now it's middle floor. And It looks like they're not going for a garage push. Garage is the usual play, but there's only actually one person there. Interestingly enough, they don't actually have anyone in garage, just someone holding from door. A bad nade going in there, and someone does rotate into garage. An interesting placement for a trip there on the workbench. It does look like it is a split push though, and there are players in A site right now. King of Hearts is getting ready to plant, and there's a player on hatch guarding him. However, are they ready for the player in theater? A very long name gets the bot. Doom takes out Soundwave, and now they need to be ready for the player swinging there under stairs. Oh, very long name and hashtag both get picks, and now it's a 2v2. However, hashtag needs to go for the defuse. No, he swings out instead, gets one. Doom gets the refrag, and now it's a 1v1. However, very long name knows where he is, and he's going to have time to defuse the EMP. Victory emote there from a very long name. Probably one of the better ones I've seen, actually. So, props to you. Definitely a mess up there from LFT, though. Doom, who was sitting on hatch, he shouldn't have dropped down. For some reason, he dropped after getting, who was it? Soundwave, I think it was. And they just weren't ready for the swing from the player on theater. Other than that, it was a pretty good play there from LFT. They were able to take control of A site with very little resistance because of the distraction on garage side. Oh, it's Super Andrew. Who? Oh, yes. They probably do need a sub. Another bottom floor site, and early pre-nades coming in from upstairs. However, very quick hatch play. Immediately dropping Calof with one kill. However, very long name gets the refrag. But damage is done. It's 3v4 now for LFT, and a lot of damage going in between the hatch. And it's only two people on site, technically. This could be very easy for them to push, but are they ready for the roam upstairs? Very long name takes out Doom. And now it's a 2v... It was 2v4, now it's a 1v3. Potato was able to get a pick. They now know someone's upstairs. However, are they ready for two players in storage? The player did drop down the hatch, however, Potato may not know that. And it looks like they may be going for a save. Oh. Goody. First person glitch. There we go. They may be swinging. One pick. Two picks. So close to a 3K right now. Will Potato be able to clutch this? Thank you, Mag Pouch. We love you. Oh. Potato puts his gun down just a little bit too soon. And that's a third round for Stormwatch. Besides that first round, things aren't going very well for LFT. Granted, they are on relatively equal footing if you're purely looking at kills and KDs. This was the floor they won last time, so hopefully LFT is going to be able to take advantage of that same familiarity with top floor. However, uh-oh, Soundwave seems to have some issues with their controller. Hopefully they can get that fixed before they run into any gunfights. Bot downstairs, maybe applying some actually good pressure there. However, Soundwave does take them out. Playing very aggro here on A door. Maybe they'll be able to catch out someone on door or window. Flashbang's going in, very long name is flashed. Luckily they make it back to site before being picked off. However, Soundwave on the roam downstairs. Oh, but Doom peeks out at the perfect time. Farah on killbox gets the refrag. Vincent going out towards door, however, it's not going to catch anyone. Playing very aggro there on the door. However, they're just now getting hatch blown. Ooh. Farah somehow doesn't get picked off there. Gets potato and gets away with it for free. Now it's a 2v4 and King of Hearts is on his own. Kalov, interestingly enough, is just sitting on shower window with a Huracan. And now they're getting very aggressive here on stairs. But Hashtag takes him out. And now it's a 1v4. However, this could be tough. He has a Huracan. Oh, they're peeking out. Peek's window takes a little bit of damage for it. Hopefully Katlov can find these picks. Hopefully he realizes they're not going to get too aggressive with him. They know he has shotgun, so it's not good to peek him. It's also likely not worth it to save here, especially since you have $1,800. Now it's a little bit late for him to swing. He could have swung in and gotten that player very close right. However, ooh, very long name is very low there. However, they don't get too aggressive and decide to keep their gun. Not a very good round there from LFT. They were picked apart entering the building. I mean, hatch, doorway on Balk. It was not easy for them to push in. And now they're back to middle floor. Hopefully they're able to pull it back. Last round of the half, so they're likely buying everything they can. Although Kalov still has $4,000. He needs to use that on something, hopefully buying a rifle. Vezin, Marui, Auril, something other than a Huracan. One player is playing on stairs though, interestingly enough. However, another interesting play. Perhaps they're going for another A hatch. No, it does look like they will be going for a full B-side push on garage and laundry. However, they're swinging laundry. Quiz was with the 2K. Proxy tells him Katlov is in laundry. Potato does take out Farah. Flashbang's going in. However, they only catch themselves. Very long name takes out Katlov, and now it's a 2v4. Nade's not going to catch anyone. And Very Long Name is now playing very aggro. Are they ready for the swing? Very Long Name takes out King of Hearts, and now it's a 1v4. Potato reveals his position, and a very long name takes up Potato. That's 5-1 for Stormwatch, not LFT. Confused myself for a sec there. And this is going to be hard for LFT to come back from. Hopefully, they play a little bit better on defense. However, Hideout is known to be a little bit more offense-sided, so we'll see how they play on this floor. A roam all the way upstairs. Oh, Peep subbing in. I don't know when that happened. Last round sometime, I guess. Looks like Peep will be going for an upstairs pre-nade, though. Interestingly enough. A very B-site oriented hold on the side of LFT right now. Ooh, pre-nade getting Farah. And King of Hearts playing very aggressively on this door. You don't usually see anyone in that corner, so hopefully he can catch out the offense. However, one is crouch walking from Waterfall. Are they ready for that? No, Soundwave takes out Potato, and now King of Hearts is in quite the predicament. Oh, the offense has full control of storage now, and it's a 1v3. Hashtag takes out Doom, who is already very low. Almost a good round there from LFT. They were able to get the early pick on Farah with that pre-nade, and then also play very aggro there in storage. However, they weren't ready for the Waterfall roam, and that kind of tore apart the whole round for them. After that, Stormwatch was able to fully take the site, and it ended poorly for them after that Waterfall roam. Hopefully next time they realize that and decide to put proxy trips, something like that, to at least give them an early warning that there is someone there on Waterfall. Top floor this time. Usually you see a push, and it does look like they will be going for that on Stormwatch. So we'll see how they decide to push this, and if LFTs will be able to play as aggro as Stormwatch was able to last time. There is a roam downstairs. Hopefully they play it well. Drone catches out the player downstairs. And that's going to be a little bit unfortunate for LFT there. That roam could have caught out a lot of players. However, Farah will be holding that roam. It will leave it a 4v4 on site. Wall is blown, and a very long name is already in. Quizwiz takes out Catwolf on the toilet, and now it's a 4v5. Peep takes out one, 4v4. Ensign goes out, doesn't quite get anyone. It was a bad Ensign. Soundwave gets one, gets two. However, he's not ready for Potato right there. Now it's a 1v3. Stormwatch gets the win. Quiz was able to beat out Potato on gun. Potato only had a Cyclone, was it? I don't know. Probably. Very good offense there from Stormwatch. They were able to take space and very easily take out the defenders. Here are scores for you, and I will be right back with water. Back just in time for our second map, Ship. Who's on defense? LFT stayed on defense. Thank you, LFT. Oh, I should probably get you two back. There we go. Alright, middle floor. Usually you see an extension in medbay or Huron boxes, however it does look like it will be a downstairs room instead. Does look like Potato will be playing aggro here, along with a very long name. Very long name takes out the bot, and player on stairs as well. Hopefully that roam comes in relatively soon. They'll be able to catch him out. Very aggressive hold in the beginning, but now they've kind of fallen back to sight. And now Stormwatch have full control of medbay. Hopefully that roam comes in just in time. Oh, Quizwiz is able to bait out the roam. They now know they're there. And now they have to rotate all the way back to site. And nothing happens to stop this plant. This is going to be very close for LFT to take back. Hopefully they don't wait too long to make their play. Utilities stopping them from pushing up too soon. Hashtag takes out Doom. Farah takes out Catloaf. Now it's a 2v4. However, health on everyone is a little bit low. Potato takes out Farah. Takes out Soundwave, but Quizwiz and Hashtag are able to get the last two people. Very close round there. EMP was planted and LFT just had to scramble to get picks there. However, Storm Battalion with the player advantage was able to win the round. Now we're onto this bottom floor, and it's kind of a toss-up which site you see. Both sites are relatively viable to push, with the wall and the doorway here on B site or A site, and B site you have generator and fire room. So you kind of see a mix of both. However, it does look like it may be a fire room push. Yes, it does seem it will be a B site push with maybe a generator in here. Alright, sorry. Hashtag takes out potato. King of Hearts gets a pick, however, there's a roam here. Farah takes out King of Hearts and Soundwave gets a very long name, and that's a pretty dominant round there from Stormwatch. 4 players alive, and it's kind of hard to beat a team once they have this much momentum. I mean, we're going to see a lot of utility coming out from Stormwatch because we've been seeing it the whole past map. So hopefully LFT is able to buy incendiaries and grenades and smokes to try to just slow down this team just a little bit so that they can actually properly defend the site. Caliph is playing very aggressively, interestingly enough. He does have the Huracan though, so hopefully he could put that to good use. He's just going to need his teammates to watch his back over here because he's very vulnerable with that Huracan. He's not going to be able to fight anyone at anything longer than maybe to that wall extension there. Drone coming in, maybe going to spot Catloaf. No. Catloaf takes out Hashtag, however, Soundwave on the hatch is able to take him out. Unfortunate for both teams, but a very long name is able to get the player advantage. Farah goes down, and this is actually looking pretty good for LFT. They may be able to pull back this round. However, they're giving Stormwatch a lot of space here. Not having any roams as well, this could hurt them. Wall is blown. Several players already swinging the wall. Very long name takes out Soundwave. Barely gets away with his life. And the last 2 players are split up. This is not good. Doom gets a little bit too aggressive and goes down. Now it's a 3v2. However, it may as well be a 2v2 with how low Very Long Name is. Ooh, Quizwiz takes out King of Hearts trying to swing out. Now it's a 2v2 for sure. However, Very Long Name is very low. Literally 1 HP. He could die any moment. It's going to have to be very careful. He hears footsteps, takes out a 1. Now it's a 1v1. Ooh, Quizwiz there with the headshot. Didn't even need it. He almost went down to trips in the beginning. However, he was able to bait those out and then swing. Hi, Blaze Shark. Thanks for stopping in, everyone. I see that there's 3 of you watching right now. At least 4 minutes before what would be on YouTube. Thanks to OBS delay. Kind of a requirement if you're going to be casting matches like this. Or scrims. .3-0 right now for Stormwatch. It's not looking very good for LFT right now. They're going to need to buy a lot more utility in order to slow down these Stormwatch players. They did a very good job in the beginning there of last round. However, they just got way too aggressive there and couldn't hold on to the player advantage they had finally gained. They just threw it away after playing a little bit too aggressive on that wall. However, it does look like Stormwatch is going to be going for an A push, and there's no one here to stop it. Quizwiz does take out Catloaf, good distraction. However, the players, I think, are starting to catch on. Yippee is getting planted. Hopefully this tells them that, hey, it might be an A push. Doom does take out Soundwave through the smoke. However, the Instant is stopping any push up. Instant going out onto Vent. This is going to be really difficult for LFT. Very Long Name does take out 1, evening it out just a little bit. Farah takes out Potato. Now it's a 3v3. However, LFT does have health advantage. Very Long Name takes out Farah. Spectral beating the Vezin. And now both players are on hatch. Very long name. Takes out the one player on hatch. One more, and King of Hearts takes him out. Is Doom able to get the defuse? They are, and that's a thrifty victory. Very good play there from LFT. They were able to take out the one player that was still downstairs after the plant, and the players on hatch kinda just sold. I mean, there's not much you can do about that. People do whiff shots, and sadly it can happen at times you don't really want them to. However, interesting trips here. I haven't really seen these used. From what I've seen, people just walk past them and they don't do quite enough damage to mean much in the long run of the round. So we'll see if that works out for them. Going to this 5th round, it looks like everyone is going to be able to buy a rifle of some sort. Never mind, Potato and Catloaf are going with pistols, and all of Stormwatch has rifles, 4 Vezins and a Marui. Very long name has somehow already taken damage. It looks like it may be due to teammates. Very good play so far from Stormwatch. They're making sure they check every corner except for those trips, but they don't seem to have any effect yet. And they've taken a lot of space so far. Flash thrown out, catching all 3 people currently in the building. Whoever threw that flash, I'm sorry. You may need to stop using flashbangs. Both walls blown at the same time. Doom taking round 1, but gets instantly refragged. Instance coming out, just denying the defense. Caliph gets Soundwaves with trips. And that's EMP, I believe, on the ground. Yes. That's going to be hard for them to come back from. Hashtag runs in, gets 1. However, is he ready for the player close? No, he's not, but he does still get the pick. Hashtag goes down to a very long name. QuizWiz takes out Potato. Now it's a 1v2. Very long name needs to clutch this up. However, one of them is very low. Oh, but not ready for QuizWiz there on the divider. Very close round there. That was almost looking good for LFT after they had gotten those first initial picks. However, Hashtag was able to take advantage of the instance just dissipating, and LFT was just not ready for it. Now we're going into round 6, the halftime round, and as usual, we're seeing all of the utility being bought on both sides, because after this, all of that money is going away, and you're going to be reset to 900, and sides are going to swap. So hopefully we can see LFT putting in a little bit more work on offense ship. Perhaps they're just not quite as good as defense. However, it does look like it will be an armory push onto A site. Once again, as I said at the beginning, use kind of a mix-up whichever site you see. Both sites are perfectly viable to push on offense. However, people do tend to think B site is a little bit easier. That's wall blown, and drones are now going in, trying to find if there's any defenders too close. However, that's complete control of workstation. They're going to want to get a roam in. Are they ready for the player in the corner? Hashtag takes out very long name who's in the corner. Util going out. A lot of grenades. All at the beginning though. Instant not quite going where they need it to. Hashtag running in. Cal taking out Hashtag. But the damage is done. It's a 2v4. Are they ready for the player in backside? Farah takes out Catloaf. Doom takes out Farah, and now it's a 1v3. However, it's not going to be an easy retake here for Doom, especially since there's already a player on table ready for the roam. Not quite coming out from Doom there. Quiz was on the table, ready for that roam. And now it's side swap. 5-1 for Storm Watch. Why can't you just swap this? Triangle Factory, please. Just make it swap on its own. Take the most common clan tag. We have Storm here. Twice, nothing else. LFT, all caps here, twice, nothing else. Well, not nothing else, but everything else is less common, so please. Farah in an interesting place. I've never really seen this in a scrim. I've only really seen this in pubs. However, we'll see if it works out for them. Roam downstairs, 3 players on site. We'll see if this works out. Very long name already taking space, however, they're not taking space on starboard side. Oh! Potato running in, however, not getting any picks. Very long name is also in now. Very long name takes out one. Ooh, they're swinging in. Quizwiz takes out one. Doom is flashed. Kalof needs to help his teammate here. However, Quizwiz takes him out as well. Hashtag on the flank takes him out. And now King of Hearts is on his own in a 1v4. That's a rough round there from LFT. Potato ran in and it did not pay off. He wasn't able to get any picks, I don't believe. King of Hearts leaves the EMP, interestingly enough. Hopefully this doesn't come back to bite him in case he decides to actually push site. Ooh. Not quite hitting all his shots, and that's 6-1 for Stormwatch. What was the score of last map? Okay. We may be seeing another 7-1. I may be able to say that I casted 2 scrims in 2 hours. Come on, guys, let's make it happen. Middle floor now. Last time, Stormwatch lost this site after they pushed this hatch. However, maybe it's going to turn out a little bit different because they're on defense. We'll see how LFT decides to push this site. It does look like it will be a fire room B-side push. Or no. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It looks like it will be a bunks push or green stairs. However, are they ready for hashtag there? Ooh, Potato is able to bait out shots and gets the one-hand kill on hashtag. King of Hearts playing interestingly as well. However, they're not ready for the one in medbay. Ooh, Potato's able to take out Quizwiz there. And that's hatch blown as well. This is not going very well for Stormwatch right now. Very long name is in sight, gets one, however, can't get a second. Doom takes out Farah. Now it's a 1v4, however, it's 1v4 in favor of LFT now. Ooh, Soundwave gets doomed. That was a 1v3. However, health economy is still in the favor of LFT. Trying to bait out shots here, however. He does shoot. However, now he needs to rotate. It's retake now for him. However, hopefully LFT knows that Soundwave is going to be going for a roam. Ooh, King of Hearts gets a little bit too aggressive there. Last two LFT players need to play together. Otherwise, they could lose this round. Ooh, makes a little bit of footsteps. Soundwave takes out Catloaf. Now it's a 1v1. However, Soundwave is 32 HP. Potato could kill him in one shot. Oh, the one-hand kill as well. That's a 6-2 now. LFT may be able to pull it back. We're now out to the bottom floor, and LFT could be pulling it back, interestingly enough. They were able to win that previous round with not the greatest guns or utility. I mean, Potato was able to run in, and King of Hearts was able to back him up. So they may need to just do the same thing. However, Potato does seem to be doing a base Marui, interestingly enough. No damage going out yet. Caliph does take out Farah with the Huracan, so we'll see how this works out for them. Ooh, Caliph goes down, but Doom is able to get refrag for him. One goes down. Potato is able to get a trade. King of Hearts takes out one, and now it's QuizWiz alone again. Ooh, Potato is pre-firing QuizWiz now, and LFT is starting to run away with this a little bit. Ooh, TK coming in as well. Hopefully they're able to re-afford that Barui. Only one rifle coming in from Stormwatch. And LFT is only going with two. Caliph going with the Huracan again, and this is interesting. LFT is starting to pull this back. However, they're using some interesting gun choices, like Vipers with no attachments and Maruis with lasers. So we'll see how this works out for them. Banana Jesper. Most goated skin, by the way. Goated skin. Does look like it will be a hatch play here on B site. Ooh. Caliph is already in. Proxy going off. Two players in hallway, though. QuizWiz takes out a very long name with trips, and it looks like their aggression might be coming back at them now. Player on stairs. Hopefully they're ready. Flash goes out. Should be giving audio cues for them. Oh, King of Hearts takes out hashtag with the RCP. And that evens out a little bit, but it's still a 3v4. Chrome is on wall. It's blown now. Two players in hallway. Hopefully they're ready. Ooh, Soundwave takes out Potato. King of Hearts puts EMP on the wall, but he does take out Soundwave. However, he has to be careful of the player in the other site and the roam. But Farah on the roam takes out King of Hearts, and Doom goes down in the other site. 7-3, 2 scrims in 2 hours. Ship 7-3. We'll see if they decide to do a third map, and if they do, that's good. More casting for me, right? Here are scores for anyone who's interested. It does look like we will be doing a third map. We will be doing factory. Alrighty. Third map, we'll see how this goes. I wouldn't be surprised if all the players here are a little bit tired by now, so we'll see if this impacts their gameplay. Starting off on top floor here, usually you see a hatch play or vending, and interestingly enough, we have... Okay, no, this is LFT. Okay, I need to fix that. 4 of the LFT players playing in museum downstairs. Doom is left on site alone. Stormwatch might not be ready for this. It does look like they are going for the regular play of vending and hatch, so we'll see how this plays out for them. Drone only sees Doom. Hopefully they don't think that there's only one player on site, because it's probably not something they should be guessing. Oh, Hashtag takes out one, but they're not ready for all 3 players on stairs. Oh, the players on stairs rotate off. However, hopefully Stormwatch is... Oh no, they have to push stairs. EMP is there. Oh, I don't know how that... No, the flashbang did hit. Okay, never mind. Hopefully they realize that there's no one actually on site. Not quite sure what Stormwatch is doing here. It's all up to Potato now. Perhaps their full roam gameplay didn't work out quite as well as they were hoping. I have a feeling LFT won't be taking this super seriously from now on, so that's probably why 4 of them played downstairs in museum. So looks like it will be middle floor, and we're probably going to see a regular push come out here from Stormwatch. And again, more than half the team on roam. This time upstairs, though. Although this time it may not be such a bad idea to have several roams upstairs. No, never mind, they have 4 upstairs. They're leaving Doom to site once again. Drone coming in upstairs, leading his team in. However, they're not going to see anyone quite yet. Not checking lockers, interestingly enough. This may come back to bite them. Because the one time they need to check lockers... no, here comes the drone. Potato is spotted, and looks like they will break vending window. Hatch is blown, and they only know of one person upstairs. However, the ensign is stopping them. Doom goes down, and hopefully they don't know that there's 4 people upstairs again. Potato takes out Quizwiz upstairs. Quizwiz takes out Catloaf, and now it's again a 1vx, this time 1v3 for Potato once again. EMP is planted in the opposite site. Ooh. Hashtag is just able to see Potato's feet there. If I'm gonna be honest, I'd actually be kind of surprised if LFT did win a round doing stuff like this, at least on defense. I think it's very difficult to do their heavy roam thing on defense. If they did it very aggressive swing all in one door on offense, I think it would work out a tiny bit better. However, defense is just very hard to pull off a very heavy roam. Interestingly enough, Potato is attempting to do the trip glitch. Don't do that in VRML, please. And it looks like they will be having a little bit less of a roam. This time more of a storage extension instead of a whole upstairs roam. Although Potato using the very interesting corner here, I don't see that very often, and I think it's very overlooked. Oh, Catloaf getting caught out in the Ensign. It's going to be a very good starting pick for Stormwatch. Interesting smoke coming in as well. Ensign's going out, stopping the push. Very good util usage there. Very long name does take out Farah after they took out King of Hearts. However, it's still player advantage in the favor of Stormwatch. LFT resorted to throwing guns now. Quizwiz does take out a very long name, and now they're taking space in storage. Wallbang's coming in, only catching out a little bit of damage, but hashtag with the wallbang. But that allows Potato to get a kill with the trips, and now it's a 1v3 again, and again it's Potato. However, are they ready for the stairs roam? Hopefully the laser doesn't give them away. No, I think it already did. Oh! Almost a good nade there. He's flashed and he goes down. But not before getting one. Although that nade there, as he was at the door, bouncing off that yellow box, that was almost a very good nade. I think it just rolled a little bit too far. I think he may be having a little bit of difficulty with activating gadgets. Stormwatch is kind of running away with this. However, it is slightly expected with how LFT are playing. However, it does seem they will be taking this a little bit more seriously. A few more players on site and some very good roam positions. However, they appear to be on the wrong side of the map this time, because it does appear to be a vending or museum push. Looks like they will be crouching downstairs towards museum, and 3 players upstairs will not help them in an A push, especially if they don't blow hatch. Ooh, EMP getting planted already just over the hatch. And smoke coming in. That is not going to help LFT. Nade coming in. Not going to catch anyone, though. If anything, hurt them. Doom does take out one. Potato goes down. Soundwave takes out King of Hearts. Now it's a 3v3. Flash comes out. Does get player. However, it's... Ooh, Farah takes it a very long name, and 1 player on site, 1 player on stairs. This is not going to turn out very well. Soundwave takes out Catloaf. Doom takes out 1. 2. Will he be able to get the 3rd player in time for defuse? No, Soundwave takes out Doom. We're once again to this top floor, and last time they lost because they all went down here in this corner, so I wonder if they'll repeat the same thing. However, it does look like they will be going for better spots. Catloaf is here in the back corner. They will want to have someone playing out here in lockers, though. It does look like they will be going for a vending push on Stormwatch. So, the usual. They may face a little bit more resistance this time, though. Maybe not from stairs, but sight. Hatch is blown, and there's no one to stop them, really. Oh, King of Hearts takes out a very long name. Ooh. Farah saved by his team member there. And that's from on wall. Although I may have to rewatch a certain part, because that looked a little bit strange. Ooh. Farah gets 2, Potato going down, and now it's a 1v2. However, he's just sitting in con. Ooh, but Quizwiz takes out King Hearts. Things aren't going too well for LFT. Oh. 2 of their players have 0 kills. That's usually not a very good thing to see. However, oh, they may seem they're doing a very heavy hold in storage, which wouldn't be bad, because Stormwatch is going storage by the looks of it. However, they are rotating off now. Does seem Doom is going for an upstairs roam. Oh, interesting. An aggressive hold. Interesting. Very long. Oh, a very long name. I think he's getting revenge for the TK the previous round. Quizwiz does take out a very long name. However, ooh, EB is getting planted on A site. Instant going out. Does catch out Soundwave. However, is Caliph ready for Hatch? No, Doom does take out the player on Hatch. And now it's a 2v3. Both Farah and Doom are relatively low. Potato does take out Farah. However, it's going to be up to the wall bangs. They're not ready for the wall bangs. Hashtag with the Marui there is able to get the pick. They ready for the close corner? No. Potato is taken out. Interesting. Two players here in printers. However, no one is going printers. So, ooh. They may have to be worried about vending though. Ooh, Potato does take out hashtag. Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice this. 3 Taurus is coming from LFT. Oh, I should probably swap team names. It's fine. Soundwave takes out one. Doom and Potato both take out a player. And now it's a 4v2 in favor of LFT. Once in cubby, they have to be careful. Quizwiz takes out 2. However, goes down to Potato. Now it's a 2v1. EP is getting planted, and Potato's doing a good job covering his teammate. Oh, but turns away at the wrong time. Now it's a 1v1. Oh, and King of Hearts goes down. That's going to be 7-1 for Stormwatch. Or 7-0, my bad. Ignore the thing on screen. It's Stormwatch. I just have to swap teams if I want that to be accurate. Final scores for whoever cares.